Good morning, friends. Rahul Sharma again. For this Saturday, I'm going to be releasing my 32nd video. One of the most interesting topic, at least for me, is what happened after our death, life beyond death. There's a book very clearly written by my guru Pandit Shriram Sharma Acharya and Mata Bhagwati Devi Sharma. मरने के बाद हमारा क्या होता है? There's a Hindi title, and this was very interesting, fascinating for me when I read this book almost 33 years ago. And today I want to just narrate this book, those who are really interested to know what really happens after that. And first of all, I want to give a disclaimer that you don't need to really agree on me, because Sir Oliver Lodge also admits that it is not always possible to explain the laws of metaphysics in physical terms. And the video is just a brief narration of the book written by my Gurudev Pandit Shriram Sharma Acharya from his own experience of past three births. You may not believe, but since I have known him for the last 34 years, he has the past birth of Kabir, and then Krishna Paramhans, and then now Pandit Shriram Sharma Acharya. So you don't need to agree on any of the narration information. That's just the expression of what I believe and what I have learned from my Gurudev. So let's understand first of all what is death as a human being in current state. What we really think is the death. So first of all, understand Gurudev has described that we have three different body types. The first body, what we all know and understand, is the physical body. We call it Sthul Sharir. It consists of five elements. We all are aware of that. It is of earth, water, air, fire, and ether. That's our actual physical body, and death applies only to this physical body. The second body, which is more powerful than physical body, is the astral body or Sukshma Sharir, or subtle body, which is collection of our thoughts, our sanskars. They become the astral body. And the third body, which Gurudev has explained, is the causal body or Karan Sharir. Karan Sharir is nothing but our intense emotions, desires. That is our causal body. So the death applies only to the physical body. So let's talk about that. Death is nothing but the separation of soul from the physical body, and then dissolution of those five elements back to its origin. Whether you burn it or whether you buried it, eventually your body decomposes into those five elements which we talk about. That is defined as the death, the separation of the soul. Everything looks exactly the same at the time of the death. You cannot distinguish what is missing, but soul is the element which is missing from the body. That's why it cannot do anything else. Now, when the physical body is no longer fit to hold that soul, it leaves the old or damaged body to acquire a new body to fulfill the strong and unfulfilled desires in next birth as our next version. Just like always have next version on your software, same thing. It is our next version, and based on our efforts, we can always become better in every single life. So death or transition of our soul from one body to other body should be just considered as easy as changing our old car, laptop, or clothing without having any fear. Yes, we definitely have attachment with our old clothing, but we should not have any fear. The purpose of writing this book is all about removing your fear today from the death of yours or your loved ones. Now let's talk about how Gurudev has explained how somebody feel at the time of the death. Of course, I have never experienced, so I cannot claim for it, but Gurudev has explained from Garud Puran and other books, and the people he can interact at that level. So the total withdrawal of the bioenergy, we call it pran, right? Pran or vital energy from the various parts of the body. That at the time of death, that's what happens. All the bioenergy will withdraw from every single cell of your body, and it will exit it primarily for most of the human being through the eyes, mouth, or ear. That time it is definitely painful, just like it appears that thousands of scorpions have stung you all together. Just before the final exit of our pran or soul, the person reaches to a state of coma or unconsciousness, what we have noticed or seen in our old age people. The Vedic philosophy expresses the exit of soul in the white color aura, which normally outline or profile your same human body, but in the weightless condition. And in the Western philosophy, the color is described as a violet color. So it doesn't matter, it's a violet color or white color, but yeah, everybody agree that there this pran or soul leaves your body in the same profile of a human body. And those who have a siddhi, they can visualize that. Now, during this moment, when the pran is leaving or soul is leaving, the entire history of our karma, of the current birth, unfulfilled desire, our wrong deeds or sins, they are awakened from our smallest cell of the brain, and it flashback as a fast movie for the entire life. And that's the amazing capacity of our brain. Within a few seconds, it will show you everything what you have done, good or the bad. And that become the essence of your life. That's become your sanskar. And your next birth is will be determined by that sanskar or the intense desire at that time. That is very important to understand, and that's why we keep teaching about moksha, or dissolve all your lust, desires, and other things at that time. So this is what will determine the moment of death, your next birth, in which you're going to take it. Now let's talk about what happens after death. So now death, you understand, is not a fearful thing. It is just like transition of the soul from one body to another body. But what happens after that? So once the soul leaves the body in the weightless state, it retains the body profile, but it can now fly like a bird. It's completely weightless, and it's very happy condition. Uh, whichever people have, given their testimony to Gurudev, and people like him, they always mention they all felt so happy that they never thought about going into the body back. But because of our attachment in our life with our own body and our relatives, our children, family, spouses, it roams around the body and relatives. Now, soul can definitely hear and feel everything our relatives are discussing, if they are crying or they are happy or they are, saying bad words about them. And the soul definitely want to communicate back, but now because they don't have the physical element, they can only talk in para and pashanti vani, but living human being cannot hear or understand that, how to respond to it. So that's very important to know, that after the death, don't cry too much, don't hurt that soul. It is around there, and that's the reason in Hindu culture we have of 10 days or 13 days of everything. And the other intention in Hindu culture is we want to detach the soul attachment with their body and the family. So we have the sanskar of burning the dead body. Okay, we call it antim sanskar. I will have a separate video on that. What is the different meaning of that? But burning the body is immediately help the soul to detach now, because now he knows it cannot go back to the body anyway. So there is no point to be there. And within 10 to 13 days of period, it loses that kind of attachment and it leaves for our next journey, which we'll talk about that. And people who bury the body, the departed soul know the body is available and it can see everything. Okay, it can see the people who are visiting the burial place. So it takes much longer for that soul to think about the next life, or the action about the next for next life the soul has to do. So it's up to you, what you think, but this is what the Vedic culture has decided. Hey, the faster and earlier we can liberate the soul for the next journey, it will be better for the soul. Now let's talk about the what is the timeline of rebirth. So most religion already agree about the religion. Gurudev has clearly mentioned that rebirth happen typically from within 3 years. Okay. Now the first year of the post-death goes into deep sleep of coma to take rest, because throughout your life you did a lot of work. Your soul feels completely exhausted. So first year is just taking a rest. The second year typically goes into assessment of the last birth karma, what mistakes and what corrective action the soul should take. The third year is the actual preparation for the new birth, locating the family where the soul want to take birth and around there. There are few exceptions for sure. Some soul has taken rebirth within 6 months, and the latest time for rebirth for the ghost yoni, which I will explain in later slides, is 12 years. So it is definitely mentioned in many books that anywhere between 6 months to 12 years, every soul has to take rebirth, and unless they have got the moksha, and they have no more desires and lust to fulfill in the next generation. They just stay in the same state. Now the other questions come into mind is always about heaven and hell. What are those? There's no physical location where you can have the GPS coordinates. Okay, there's no such coordinates there. They are not in space. They are not some very far distance place. That is very clearly mentioned by Gurudev. And so this state is just within this atmosphere of the Earth area. During the 3 years of waiting time for soul to take rebirth, the soul must remain in the state of the heaven or hell as per their deeds of the karma. So first year typically, as I mentioned on earlier slide, consumed in the deep sleep for rest. Now heaven is what? The pure deeds or the punya, which gives us inner happiness, is the state of heaven. So if you really want to have heavenly condition, you don't need to die for that. You can simply create heavenly condition within your life by reading Gurudev's books, and you can change yourself and speak everyone with the melodious voice, sweet voice, and never hurt anybody. That is the heavenly condition. People who have already calmed down their lust and desires and attachment before death, they ends up in a state of peace and happiness for the second and third year of the waiting time in the weightless state. And this state of heaven is also limited for 2 years before the rebirth. It's not that somebody will be remaining in heavenly state for rest of the uh, decades. So it's within 2 years they have to get ready for rebirth if they were not having the moksha. Now let's talk about the hell. Just like you understood now heaven, the hell is the retrospection. When the retrospection bring the past sins, then it is termed as hell. Because now you feel bad about it. Now you really know what is good and bad, because there is no conscious mind here, which can give you logic and arguments that what you did was the right thing. Now everything is clear, as per the godly principle. You know this is what you did mistake, and this pain and agony of your astral body, that is what known as the hell. And what Gurudev has mentioned, the hell is also not like a same hell for everyone. Based on their mental state, based on the astral body, the hell is customized for each person. So based on how intensely they did the bad work or sins, they will feel that kind of pain and agony. So hell is different for every single individual. Now, what is the purpose of the hell? Why somebody need to stay for the remaining 2 years in the state of hell? The purpose of hell is to settle down all the accounts of the past sin through this repentation, through your agony. So in 2 years, you are going to burn all your sins, what you did, all your thoughts, so that the bad habits get eradicated and soul become pure for the next birth. So you have an opportunity, even in the hell, after all those pain and thing, you can definitely get a new birth in a much better way. So that was the hell condition. Now let's talk about rebirth location, where somebody will reborn. So what Gurudev has mentioned, 50% of the departed soul, normally they love their current family. So they always look area around that. They always even remain in a soul state around that family. And as soon as there's an opportunity of a pregnancy in their family, they try to occupy that particular pregnancy or womb. And it is also written that if somebody was a male or female, they would like to remain in the same sex, unless somebody has a deep desire at the time of death. Oh, what if I would have born as a woman, or what I would have born as a female? Okay, that's the only reason when the things will change. So remaining 50% is for those area, and remaining 50% can born in different country, different sex, or even as a dog and cat, based on their intense desire at the time of death. Because sometimes when we even jokingly say, hey, the dog life in the US is far superior than a human being, and that's true. The way the dogs are and cats are treated here, and that's definitely much better life than a human being in many countries. So somebody has that intense desire, yes, they can take a rebirth in a dog in USA or any other such country where pets are being loved. Now, people who misused all their senses, organs, for the sensual pleasure only throughout their life, and so in that case, the God has a principle that out of all those 84 lakh yoni or 8.4 million birth, you may even go back from a human being to a tree yoni, which we call it jad yoni. Jad yoni means you cannot walk, you cannot do anything, you don't have any feelings. Jad yoni means you have no organs now to even use that. So in that jad yoni, you will be able to settle your account of all the sins you have done by using all those organs for a mitzvah. That's why in our puja process we have a step known as nyas, when we really purify all our organs and we take a vow that I'm not going to misuse any of my organs. So the rebirth, this is how the rebirth will be determined. Now let's talk about the pret, the ghost. Does really ghost exist? So Gurudev has personally experienced also when he bought a property in Mathura for his publication of Akhand Jyoti, and he has expressed the pret or the ghost is defined as an interim state of a soul with certain molecules of the physical body. Those five elements, the certain molecules of the physical body may have transition into the soul or astral body for those who dies in sudden accidents, suicides, murders, or before their regular age of old age. So it can happen. Occasionally, that molecules of the physical body can make them visible to other people like us, a normal human being, on the will of the ghost soul. Whomsoever they want to appear for the help or to scare them, to take their revenge, they can take the form for physical form. Now, ghost is also a dead person with intense lust, jealousy, and unfulfilled desires. Will break the cycle of progression from one birth to another, and is stuck as a ghost for many years. So usually it is mentioned that ghosts may be getting all those issues and problems until 12 years. Okay, so that's why we always teach during the spiritual pujas and ceremonies that remove your lust, control your jealousy, don't have anger and envy and other thing. Now, as per this book, ghost can withdraw the desired five elements of physical body of a person of a weak psychic body to take a physical form. So there are some ghosts who has the want to take the shape to show to somebody, and they can always withdraw some of those five elements from the body there. And you must have noticed or seen even some movies that for that particular person the biological imbalances happen, the weight loss all of a sudden, and a few more changes happen, and that might be the reason, because the ghost soul has the power to withdraw some of those five essential elements to make the body visible. Now ghost spirits are found where? Normally they are at the places where they can fulfill their incomplete desires and lust, which is typically around the brothel, the bars and casinos. And they can use the body of people who are doing the same thing what they did in the past births. They can use their body to just assume that they are getting the same pleasure. They really don't get the same senses, they don't have the senses, but they assume they're getting the pleasure. And the person who was used, he will never know about it that one of those pret yoni has come into his body, but it can definitely feel the intensity of that kind of desires has increased. Like you will play more of the bet in the casino, or you're going to drink more because the pret yoni also want to have drink more, and it feels satisfied with that. And same thing about all those things. So be very careful that why we need to go to brothels and casinos and bars. Now Gurudev has classified there are 7 types of ghost. The first one is definitely imaginary. Most people with own fear and their conviction, they think they have seen a ghost, which is not the case. Okay, it's all about their internal fear, and most of the cases are like that. The second type of is psychosomatic disorder. This is a disease which can be fixed through spirituality, through the natural healing, and through counseling. The third one is the actual clones created by the residual bioenergy. So as we talk about, there are some of the residual bioenergy can be cloned into a body, into a ghost yoni. Then there are ghosts which are completely sensually dissatisfied soul, and they will be roaming around those on the brothels, bars, and casinos. The fifth type is infatuated soul, or pret yoni we call it. They are very much attached to certain individual in their family. Maybe they attach with the child, maybe spouse, maybe the dog, or whomsoever. They don't harm anything, but they will always be around that particular person, and they will try to help in whichever way they can. They can do by a thought, or by a feeling, or by intuitive idea. So those are the infatuated soul. The sixth type is the, we call it Chaya Purush, Jinn, Bhavani. These are the one which is produced by the Tantric, or known as the exorcist. At their will, with their spiritual power and tantric power, they can create this kind of praise for serving their intention. And those chaya or those ghosts are not happy with this kind of bondage. And when the opportunity will come, they can even kill the tantric or exorcist. So without knowledge, without practice, don't do that. And Gurudev has clearly mentioned in his book also. The tantric education is very, very specific, and people should not try that without a experienced guru. The seventh one is the liberated souls. The souls of person who died after living a contented life. They doesn't harm anyone. Okay, so these are the seven types. Now Gurudev has classified them into three categories. One is the weak category. Weak category praise can affect mentally to children by scaring them and making them sick. The medium category has a strong intensity of ill or evil thoughts and can take various shapes and even move around things. What you have seen in any movies, yeah, that Gurudev also has accepted in this book. The medium categories ghosts can control the body and senses to fulfill their own desires. And again, when they fulfill their desire, they just assume and they feel happy about it. They cannot have real senses test. The last category is the elite category. The elite category we call Betal or Brahma Rakshas. They have the power to help other people and also protect them from the impact of other two categories. So this kind of Brahma Rakshas, or they have to do that. So a lot of spiritual gurus have that kind of power to help somebody who is suffering from the first two categories of the ghost. Okay, and this Brahma Rakshas and Betal also have the power to tell you the exact current and the past activity, incidents, what happened. For future prediction, they can tell, but there's no guarantee that will be true because no one has seen the future. So don't try to ask any question about the future if you practice that kind of thing. I know this topic is long, but yeah, this is very important information. Now, who can be really impacted by the ghost? The people with weak psychic, who are having unknown fear, confusion, doubt, lack of spirituality, and excess of the evil thoughts. These people will be easily impacted by the ghost. They are their target. What is the preventive measure? As you have already heard, either you chant Gayatri Mantra, Hanuman Chalisa, or any other mantra which gives you the spiritual power, and you gain confidence, you remove the fear. So that's very true. We can do that. Now, the other important thing that Gurudev mentioned in this book is about the blessings incur. Does that really happen? Answer is yes. Blessing of the Siddha Purush does work. So we must do everything to count and increase our blessing. Help other people wherever you can, even in the pets or animals, and everything will be counted. And you're going to create a protection ring around you. And Gurudev has mentioned multiple times for all of us who are working to spread his message. Same thing with the curse. Don't try to hurt people's feeling. Don't do trouble for people, old age people, your parents, and other people. Stay safe and don't collect any curse from the learned people. So that's how you need to be taking care going forward after this education from this video. So let's talk about some of the action item. First, understand the law of karma. I have released a video number 15. You can go to my channel, watch this video to understand how the law of karma really works for your rebirth. Take corrective action now. Don't wait for your death day. Okay, take corrective action now. You know you're going to change your body to the next body. So get rid of all the bad habits. Control your anger, jealousy, vanity, lust, any unethical, any unhealthy desires and attachment. Start taking those actions. That's why the Hindu culture has divided our life for 100 years in 4 categories. First category was the Brahmacharya ashram. The second one is the Grahastha ashram, where you really take care of your family. And 50 to 75 is the time when you're doing Vanprasth. Then you are not really attached with your family. You're not really getting involved in their day-to-day activity. You're not really poking your nose in their decision-making life or with your children or the grandchildren, and you start volunteering out yourself to the society, to the temples and other places. By the time you reach 75, you should completely withdraw yourself even from those Vanprasth activity and just focus on your jap, tap, dhyan and make yourself to the best category of the liberated soul. And then educate yourself about the scientific spirituality, as I have been keep writing these videos every single week, and understand that transform your lifestyle, which gives you a mental peace and happiness, and stop worrying about death for yourself or for your loved one, and prepare for it. Okay, just like you're going to be preparing for buying a new home or buying a new car, you're going to start looking into those models now, the new technology and then what you need. Say that you need to be excited about your new birth. What kind of body you want, what kind of country you want to get birth in. Think about that, plan for that. And that's what the action item which even I had for myself after reading this book once again after 33 years. Once again, be a Vedic practitioner, learn, adopt, and practice the secrets of success written in 3,400 books by Gurudev. After he already translated all the Vedas and Upanishad and Brahman and Samhitas and everything, he written so much of book in one human lifetime. Stay successful and happy and help others making this world in heaven. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel to watch my next video. And as I explained in my Navgraha Puja, you need to, if you want to really earn punya to counter or settle your accounts of sin, then you need to promote the Vedic culture to 9 new families every single year. Ask them to do the Gayatri Yagna, Gayatri Havan, and then ask them to invite 12 new families in that Yagna at their house. So 9 by 12 pattern is 108. That's why we talk about the 9 planets roaming around in 12 rashis, and that's how the total number will work out. So do all those activities with this. Thank you everyone, and stay tuned for next Saturday.